Hi, everybody. This is Chris,
And this is Matt.
and this is not a review. This
Nope.
is two guys get together once a month, pick a game. We play the game for a month, and then we come back and talk about it.
Yep.
We also
Our
play
feelings,
our feelings, our
our
emotions.
emotions. Jinx.
Yep. Sometimes we have a very special episode. This is not a very special episode. This is just an episode.
No. Eh.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm having another episode. Also in there, we do a short game. Like we do a game we can play in like a day or two. We'll talk about those at the end. So if you want to play along, please play along with us. Make comments down below. We love the comments. One of probably the only YouTube channels I've ever heard say we love the comments, but we do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Join
uh,
the subreddit.
I was gonna say somebody started a subreddit. So
Thank you, loyal viewer. That's really nice. That
yes,
was a nice. That made my day.
it did. We were really happy to see that because we don't have time to do something like that, and it's nice to see.
Yeah.
It's one of those moments where I feel like we made it.
Yeah. Hell yeah, we made it. Finally.
Right.
It's all. It's all coasting from
All
here.
coasting from here. Now we just sit back and get that sweet candy bar money.
That's right. The absence of hard work is finally starting to pay off.
Right. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm gonna
But
get this
anyway,
show on the road
yeah.
over here. Let that start playing.
This is our second talk about Pool of Radiance,
Right.
the 1988 SSI Gold Box Extravaganza.
Our first talk a month ago, and we do this with our RPGs or any game that we feel like is gonna take some learning to get into. First month, we teach how to play.
Yep.
Give you some tips, some tricks, and explain all the bells and whistles because it takes like 2 months to play an RPG. A good
Yeah,
one, a big
it
one.
it takes more than 2 months, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I think doing the learn how to play is so good for these old games because they're all so weird in their own individual ways.
Yes.
They all have a different logic. Like the way you grind levels in Pool of Radiance is totally different than how you grind levels in, Bard's Tale.
Right. I would almost argue you can't grind in Pool of Radiance. You kind of can, kinda, but you don't get enough XP from just wandering fights to really
Yeah,
be what levels you up unless you are hella patient.
and I am not.
No.
I had a hell of a time leveling up in this game. It's like you said, like your your heart says grind some combat, level up, everything you know about video games,
Right.
but it's so close to that old school D&D mentality where they don't want you to level up, they don't want you to grind, they want you to do the adventure.
They want you to do the adventure. I mean, this game maxes out at like level 7, depending on the class, 6 to 8, somewhere around
Hmm.
there. So you're not going to have super high powered ultimate fighting characters. You're going to have some mid tier at best when you're done.
Yep.
Um, like we were saying, you don't grind from combat. You basically grind from completing missions, which is go and explore an area and then come back and tell them you did. If you find a big treasure in there, you'll get some experience for the loot you find. But you don't get, um, yeah, you don't get XP for just killing guys.
Right.
So
I mean, you do, but it's trivial.
it's trivial.
And
Like, yeah,
this,
you need thousands to go up, and a wandering fight might get you 50
yeah, if you're lucky.
if you're lucky.
And this game is really, 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 really hard, I think. I had like that first district you're in. There's some super difficult fights in there, and you really have to learn the adventure. Like you have to learn the whole area where those fights are, so you can pace yourself.
I was gonna say, I don't think the game is hard in that, oh, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna figure this out? I think it starts by having you so underpowered at level 1 characters
Hmm.
that most of the interesting fights, most of the placed fights, and even to begin when you can't even afford plate mail for a while, the
Hmm.
wandering fights are life or death. our struggles are hard. But
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, I wonder where I should go. I wonder what I should do. I've got to figure out this weird puzzle, or it's very clear on kind of where you need to go and what you need to do, while at the same time being open. Like you can wander around the city wherever you
Right. I
want.
had I had the experience several times in that first district of getting into combat and thinking there being so many dudes that I'm fighting that I had done something wrong and this was not supposed to happen and it was just designed to punish me and kill me for failing to pick a lock or whatever and bashing a door. But no, that's not true. They're like that's the fight. You like end up fighting like 20 dudes
Hmm.
with bows and arrow. Half of them have bows and arrows. It's just really
Are you talking about the mage room?
yeah.
So
It's so hard.
that mage room, did you finish it? You
No.
didn't. No. Okay. Uh, I kept going in there because I'm like, I want your treasure so bad. And
Yes.
eventually I figured out that if you spoilers. By the way, as we talk about these games, we will spoil them. So if you do not want some sort of spoiler to some part of the game, probably wrong show.
I mean, you've had what 30 years to play this thing?
Yeah. If you're
Come on.
watching, yeah, like this. If you want to learn how to play without spoilers, see our previous video. If you want to just hear our opinions on after having played the game, this is that. Mage Guy. Funny story about Mage Guy. If you pick the right way to talk to him, he sends you on a mission in the Rope District. Did you get into the Rope District? Did you
Yes.
find the shop at the far end?
Yes.
He tells you what to say to that guy, then you
Right.
bring what he gives back to you, and then you get a bunch of loot
I did that.
and you get some XP for it. And that's, if not enough to level up, kind of close. What I had a problem with in the beginning, um, because I've played enough of these games where the wandering monsters and stuff, I won't say were easy, but I know how to handle them. And
Hmm.
that's years and years and years. I've played all the gold box games. And even I'm like, whoa, this is a rough start.
Well, someone posted in our how to play video, someone posted a link to like a tool that kind of nices up the interface
Hmm.
because one of the main man, you're taking a long time to build your party here.
Yeah, I'm
That's
noticing that.
okay. That's okay. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying.
I spend a lot of time really thinking about what am I gonna, what am I, what do I want them to look like? How do I want them to
Right.
be? I'm
Right.
gonna be
Because
looking
that
at them a lot, so.
right, you're going to be watching them get killed a lot if your experience was anything like mine. But anyway,
Mhm.
so there's like a tool that'll kind of help you to quicken the pace a little bit because it turns into so much resting and learning spells and trying to get your shit back where you can go on to the next fight so you can rest again.
Well,
Uh,
and in this game, like they don't have a lot of the quality of life features the next games had, like the
yeah,
fix command and the stuff where you just hit fix and it rests and casts healing until your guys are all ready to roll, and
yeah,
that's awesome. This is always this manual resting and stuff. Is this
yeah.
just character creation? Oh my god, we might have to pick another. Okay, keep talking.
Oh man. But I don't want to sound like because I've pretty much done nothing but bitch about this game since we started this
Well,
conversation.
you know,
But
there's.
I
I
liked
usually
it.
ask this. Do you? Okay, you do. That's
I
usually
liked
how I
it. Yeah,
start. You liked it. Okay.
yeah.
Um.
I liked it because more so than Neverwinter Nights, even it feels really, really like you're in someone's D&D adventure. Like it has
Mhm.
that, and I don't know why I felt that with this more than like the subsequent, more modern D&D games. You just feel so much closer to, like the original D&D uh, module. Um, so I like that. It's hard, but it's rewarding. Like when you finally beat a difficult battle, it's like a big deal. Like it feels really good.
Mhm.
Um,
Hang on.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Yeah, and I know one of our people said this doesn't play kind of like old D&D, but between me and my friends, this is how we played. This was, you know what I mean? Like this is what we did.
Yeah, right. Like it I think the first D&D adventure I played was Under Mountain,
Okay.
and like that
Yeah, I remember
that's
that.
yeah, with those dudes that would do acid in the bathroom,
Hmm.
and yeah, it was so weird. Um
Well, the one of the big things I remember from that, we're off. We also go off the tracks a lot.
yeah.
Your character ended up having like taking a shrinking potion and didn't fit in their clothes, and I carried like naked you with ogre gauntlets around in my pack for a while.
Right. Yeah,
So we
it
had
was
a
a
good
good
time.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. We didn't even need acid to think of
We didn't
that.
even add acid to do it. No, we just played and it just happened.
Yeah.
Um,
But this has kind of a like that kind of under mountainy feeling to it. Like you
yeah.
have these districts, these mazes, and you just
Oh,
kind of grind through them and fight the fights, and
yeah.
there's ancillary quests and things happen.
Hmm.
But that to me is that's how I think of old school D&D. But I didn't play a ton of it, so I might just be talking out of my ass.
Well, and if you're interested in Dungeons and Dragons, um, one thing I can say for everybody is every table plays different. Absolutely every single one. So whatever you think you know about D&D or how it should be played or anything like that, it changes. It's everybody does it slightly different. So if you didn't have a good experience or you didn't like the way that table played, try it again somewhere else. Maybe, you're more into combat and the tactic stuff. That's half of my bread and butter. Exploration is the other part. I just like to explore maps and dungeons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some people are all about story. Like they'll never go in a dungeon. Some will never leave a town. They'll just
Right.
sit and story tell and have that sort of experience. And that's great for them. Whatever works for you, find that group and play that because
Hmm.
nobody has a line on the one true D&D.
Right.
And so this to me was very similar to how I played at the table. So for me, it was just a nice easy slide. And based on the fact that this is what they put out for games, I'm betting a lot of people played this way. I'm betting this is pretty common a way where you've given some adventures. That's the main goal, and the fighting and stuff is there, but
Hmm.
ancillary to the whole experience.
Yeah. I think this had the benefit of coming out at a good time in PC gaming and in D&D. Like it's modern enough. It's not like those early 80s games where it's so rough and there's
Mm-hmm.
there's like nothing gentle about it. Like this is very usable. It's fun. There's enough content. Granted, some of it is in on paper, like you have
Yeah.
to get out your adventurer's guide
Right.
uh, and that's fine. Like that's okay to do.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. In terms of interface, when I played this on Commodore, I played it all with joystick.
Oh wow.
Like that's because you can hit a button and then you select on the menus. It's all menu driven. You're kind of talking about that a bit with Knox, but this was a set of games there too that was just sort of all menu driven, all
Hmm.
taken from
Yeah,
that approach.
the menus aren't the
No.
best, definitely, but it's very usable, and you kind of figure out like the real common things that you're going to be doing. Like I can memorize spells like without even looking at the
Mm.
menus because it's always that same workflow, and I'm honestly always memorizing pretty much the same couple of
Yeah.
spells. So you get used to it.
Well,
It's
and
not bad.
that's one of those quality of life things that the future ones do. Is they remember what's because most people memorize the same spells every day. It's the same thing. So they remember that for you and you can just go.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's cool that when you're exploring like these districts that there's it doesn't look like much. It all kind of looks the same. There's some different textures on the doors, but you like there's the rope district, and it like feels like an area, and there's
Mm-hmm.
people, and they kind of like live there, and uh, it feels surprisingly rich for being basically a maze with
Right.
two different wall textures.
Well, that was one of the things I was going to say. I know you got stuck early in the game and didn't get to explore, but as you go through the game, like
This
each proper area is 15 by 15. You
this
want to
is
say
the
something?
combat I was talking about. It wasn't the wizard one; it was this one where
Okay.
there's like so many guys.
Yeah. Sleep is your friend here and like targeting where you're going to sleep. So I'm going to get these 6. Um,
Right, you need to kind of like build a wall of
sleep.
sleeping guys, yeah, and then plan accordingly.
Yeah.
It's you can't always tell. It would be nice if you could tell who's asleep, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was 1988, so you can't
Right.
ask for too much. But yeah,
Um,
this is all about managing the the flow of combat.
right.
But it's still like this is a hard fight.
Mm-hmm. Um, what I was saying about exploring while we watch this fight,
I'm sorry, yeah, I
you
got
can.
excited.
No, I know. It's something worth getting excited about. As you go from 15 square area to 15 square area, you can literally watch the artists getting better. And in this game, and not in the future games, but this game, you can watch how they built it and came up with new and more interesting things from area to area. Like the first area has um, basically walls and some water border.
Hmm.
And then when you get to the other area, there's uh, more different doors and more kind of stuff mixed together and some inside and outside areas. The first area has that, but the second one does too. When you get to the third, there's ruined pieces that you can see past that give you some marker positions, but not um, like blocking your view.
Yeah.
So you just keep watching, and then they build well areas, and they just every area has some new aspect of design that is better than the last one. So I've always found this particular game interesting for that reason. That you watch the artists get better as you play.
Yeah, I really like that about series by the same people too.
Hmm.
Like you can kind of see how people's skills evolved and the technology evolved as
Right.
go through a series, or like you said, even in this case, a
Yeah.
game. That's
Even in
really
the same
cool.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we were asked, why we picked this over, say, like the Commodore or the Amiga version, because the Amiga version looks better than this.
Oh yeah, the Amiga always looks so good.
Hmm. But only DOS can you take your characters all the way through.
Yep.
So,
And I like DOS.
hmm,
That was like my when I was probably the most into gaming was in the DOS era.
yeah,
So I'm comfortable with it.
yeah. And here you
What?
see the other guys are starting to surrender,
Yeah.
which is
Right. That's
nice.
huge. Did you hire someone from town, or is
Nope,
this all you?
it's all me.
Man,
All me, baby.
I hired someone from town and I still got my ass kicked. The really important thing is to buy the best equipment you can. That's probably my advice, and probably why I was so terribly unsuccessful in most of my uh,
Yeah.
adventures. You
First,
really gotta buy that good shit.
well, I mean, and I kind of talked to you about this, but like you started out with your fighters in like ringmail,
Hmm.
and I think that gives you like a 3 AC bonus.
Hmm.
So it takes your AC from 10 to 13. It's basically a 15% lower chance of getting hit. That's not a lot. Where plate
Hmm.
mail is a 7 or 8 with shield, which is a 40% difference, and you're already starting at 50, which means they're only hitting on like 5 or 10% of the time. And if you have a
Yeah.
dex bonus, only when they roll a 20.
Right.
That is that makes the game survivable. Like
Yep.
that is the difference between being able to survive a fight and not. Um, and when you do level up so slowly, gear is king.
Yep.
Um, so
Totally. Yep. You need that good gear, and they're pretty generous with
yeah,
the money. I mean, it's not easy to get that stuff, but uh man, don't sit on cash in this one.
no,
And,
get your
and
stuff.
And you saying that really drives home the point that the more you understand the D&D rules
Mm-hmm.
from, is this second edition or first?
This is first still.
First edition D&D rules, the happier you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
playing and the more at home you're going to feel. Like I don't I know how to compute THACO,
Yeah.
you know. Uh but that's about it. Like I didn't play a ton of first edition D&D, so I don't really have an intuitive sense. I mean, obviously plate mail is better than ring mail,
But
but
how much? Like
how
to
much, right?
right. That is the difference between being able to play the game and having to just sit and watch your guys die over and over.
Right.
Huge.
And yeah. Yep. So that's my advice. And the other advice I have is make sure you have a numeric keypad on your keyboard because you cannot move
Yes.
diagonally. I mean, you can use the numbers. We talked about this in the Let's Play, but I have one of those hipstery
Mm-hmm.
mechanical keyboards with no numeric keypad, and
We
that sucked. Like that
yeah.
was a huge detriment.
One of the things I'll say, and probably should have said this last time, but I'm just looking at it this time. Normally, I'm anti-clue book
Hmm.
across the board. Um, my personal view is, figure it out in the game, figure it out yourself. But like most people haven't played D&D or another have the peripheral information they'd be able to pull into this. Even if you're playing third or fifth edition, um, or you've played Pathfinder or something, you still aren't going to get a real sense of what that first edition combat flow was like.
Hmm.
The clue book has 1, 2, 3, 4 pages on just how to fight.
Yeah.
Ignore the rest, go right to page 57, read about combat, and have them spell it out for you. How backstabbing works, what tactics you should use,
Hmm.
just as sort of a primer for this kind of game. If I was writing an instruction manual for a modern game, I would put this in the manual, not in a clue book.
Agreed. Yeah.
Uh, Spells too, they don't explain every spell in the clue book, but right after combat they talk about these are some spells you want at first level. These are
Hmm.
where you should start with your tactics, and they kind of break that down and in what's good.
Yeah.
And they have a good range, a little cheat chart at the end of that book. So basically, the last like 6 pages of the clue book, read those because those should be in the manual, and you know you can
Yeah. And
get that
it comes with the good old games version, which
right.
is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
They give you a good set of tools
Right.
with the good old games version.
Right.
I liked this rope guild section because I was walking around a lot in the auto map,
Mm-hmm.
um, but in this section it doesn't give you an auto map, which I really liked because then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna map this, or you can use the clue book if you're a dirtbag, but
Yeah.
I'm not, so like I
Dirtbags.
mapped it. I did verify against the clue book though because I get turned around very easily,
Oh yeah.
so I'm half dirtbag,
Half dirtbag.
like a
Filth
dust
bag.
bag.
Yeah, dust
Yeah.
bag.
Yeah.
Um,
But that
no,
was
I
cool.
like that they're willing to take it away from you sometimes. They're like, this is a confusing area. The auto map's not going to work. This is this. This isn't going to work here. I
Hmm.
always appreciate games that give you an auto map and take it away sometimes.
Hmm.
Like that is because it makes you appreciate it. Otherwise, like you said, I just played the whole game in the auto map. It would
Yeah.
pop out and map and then go back in and be like, bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yep. You kind of develop a sense of the level better
Mm-hmm.
when you have to manually map it out, and it affects the pacing of the game.
Right.
Uh,
That
which
is a
I
big harping point for me.
right, right. Um, but like I don't feel bad about walking around in the auto map just because you know it's so much easier, and
Yeah,
you do have to pop out to look at things. Like
they
you
gave it to
don't.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's always my rule. If it's in the game, if you can make it happen without changing the code or adding a second, something around the edge,
Hmm.
you're playing the game the way it was meant to be played, even if it's obviously not the way it was meant to
Right.
be
Right. You let me do it.
played. It's in the game. I can do it. You
Yeah.
can drink it. It's over the counter.
NyQuil.
Yeah.
Nice Dennis Leary reference.
Thank
Holy
you.
cow. Wow.
I know, digging deep. Um, what do you? Okay, so combat was a little hard on you. You did like
I
that we did mapping and non-mapping.
Yep.
Um,
I
what did?
used auto combat for a chunk of time, and this was one thing we were going to discuss.
Yes.
I used auto combat because I was spending so much of my time resting and dealing with combat, and I, especially when I didn't have the numeric keypad and it moving diagonally, like I said, I could have moved diagonally with the actual numbers on the top,
Hmm.
but who's going to do that? That's stupid.
Can you lift that hipster keyboard for everyone to see? Can we take a look at this thing for
I
you?
just I just blew all the dust off this bad boy the other
Oh
day.
my
So there
goodness.
she is.
Everybody, there it is.
There it is. Look at LED lights.
Oh,
But no diagonal movement.
no
So
diagonal movement.
yeah.
But you have
But
a
anyway, so
mechanical keyboard, but mine, God,
yeah, don't lord your keyboard over me. Mine has round buttons and it looks like a typewriter because I'm gonna write the next great American novel.
mine looks like something from the 80s.
Right. We're on brand.
Yes.
Uh oh. Um but anyway, so I was using auto combat to move this sucker along
Hmm.
because combat does undeniably take a lot of time.
If you don't, if this would be my suggestion if you want to try this game and see if you're into it or not, play 5 combats. If
Hmm.
you aren't having fun trying to figure out how to make it work and do that sort of thing, move on. Just the rest of the game isn't strong enough if you don't like the combat.
And it's not that I didn't like the
No,
combat.
I know.
I just wanted to get somewhere, and I
Hmm.
was like it was hard. I had such a hard time uh with resting and trying to get all my people healed, and like because you rest and then you cast your 2 cure light wound spells and then you rest again, and if you get interrupted then you have to re-navigate all the menus. It's a big hoopla. It's a blustery hoopla to get your people back, and I'm like kind of anal about that. Like it's a hang up I have. Like I want everyone to be ready to go, and like I
Yeah,
don't
come
like to
on.
walk around wounded. So yeah.
This
So
game comes from the era and philosophy of a level 1 character should feel like a level 1 character.
hmm
Weak and scared and worried. And
yes,
that struggle comes through in the gameplay. Um,
yes. And the
as
payoff is when you have developed, you can kick a little ass,
Yeah,
but you do not kick ass at the beginning.
no, it takes a while. About level 3, you finally feel like, I may have the hang of this. Then you run into a troll and you're like, I don't have the hang of
Nope.
this.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, this is the first in the series of series. I think when they went to Dragonlance, they even start you at level 2. Like, this is the only game I think starts you at level 1, and you're so spongy and have
hmm
so little money. And um, yeah, that's why, like, when you start, pool all your money and get your front guys with a sword, shield, and the heaviest armor you can. Everyone else can be naked for a while because
Yep. The other good piece of advice is to buy darts for your mages so they're not
yes.
totally useless all the time.
Hmm.
Uh, so if you're going to buy anything for your mages, don't dick around with staves and what have you. Just get them some darts.
No, they shouldn't be up fighting in front. They're mages.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, this thing really really did a number on me.
I don't think before we quit, I don't think I came back and finished this area because this is I don't think I ever pulled it off. Um,
Yeah, it's so hard. Like and it's in the first area and you will stumble on it.
let's talk about that. Yeah,
If
they're
you're
not. Go on.
I have completist tendencies as well. So I feel like it's incumbent upon me to defeat the trolls and the ogres. I
Hmm.
don't think that's a sound strategy for your level 1 characters. It surely wasn't for me.
It's not a thing that I think's necessarily possible, depending on the characters you take. Um, I probably should have given some guys two-handed swords. That's something I used to do as a kid that I didn't do here. Is I used to have a golf bag. So like when I'm fighting something big, I'd pull out a two-handed sword and do
Nice.
extra damage with it because those do a lot more damage to big things than little
Hmm.
things. Um, this game kind of balances to level, but it also sprinkles in stuff that you have to backtrack for.
Right.
And you need to treat the game as a game and not the area as an
Right. If you can't beat a combat, don't just throw yourself at it.
area.
That's just going to lead to being frustrated
Mm-hmm.
because it's from a different, like, they you would never have this in a modern game.
Oh God,
No,
no.
no modern game would do this to you. Uh, and can we just take a moment and appreciate the two square tall dudes? I
Yes,
really like that. Uh,
I like that they scale the monsters.
it's really good
Mm-hmm.
because you just feel scared.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is more.
Yeah, yeah,
um, no, I really appreciate that they are willing to just make the world believable more than balanced.
yeah.
And at the same time, you can win the game. People do it. It's winnable. So you just have to accept this was not for me at this moment and then
Yep,
reload.
yep. Reload and don't try it again.
Yep.
Like when you're getting killed as badly as you are getting killed here, uh, don't
No.
don't waste
Reload.
your time.
Yeah, I don't even bother trying to run because then I got to res all these guys. I'd rather just reload.
Yeah, right.
It's nice that they have running as an option, but meh, it's faster to reload than to try and get everybody back up.
R- Running is a pain in the ass because you got to hoof it all the way off the map, and they chase you, and like all kinds of shit
Hmm.
happens. It's a cool mechanic, but
Yeah,
yeah, 9 times out of 10,
I've
I'm
seen
gonna
it used
reload.
more by monsters than by me.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, there've been a couple times where I'm like, oh, at the beginning of the fight, I'm like, if I just run right now, I can get everybody out of here, and we can pretend this never happened. And I've done that a couple
Hmm.
times, but mostly,
Fred Butts.
he's no Ben Cheese. That's all I'm saying.
No. He could be like Ben Cheese's squire.
Ben Cheese a square, Fred Butts. I
Sure.
think we're onto something.
Yeah. We're
Um,
on to like a third grade sense of humor is what we're on
that's
to.
never left.
Yeah. Back in the
So
maze.
back in the maze. Um, I like the variety of monsters in the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different monsters, and they all behave differently and have different strengths and stuff. That's a that's a hallmark of a good D&D game is like having lots of different things, not just okay, I'm on my 87th orc.
Right. Right. I did appreciate that too. And when you find a new one, it's cool.
Hmm.
Like, ooh, this is
Yeah,
different.
and they give you some sense like this area is the orc area, this area is like the goblin hobgoblin area, this area is this. So that library has ghosts in it and scorpions, and so stuff
Yeah.
changes here and there, and you can kind of, but it's a lot of different monsters, a lot of different monsters, and we're still in the city for most of our recording. You can
Yeah.
actually leave the city and go do other things. Um, eventually, you got to work
Right.
your way out of it.
Yeah. One piece of advice too, like I just saw you bash it, or I think you bashed that
Hmm.
door. It matters who you have highlighted. I think we
Yes.
talked about this already, but it
Yep.
really bears repeating. And that's a really cool mechanic. Like if you're walking around with your thief highlighted, it's different than if
Hmm.
you're walking around with your tank highlighted.
Yep.
Good job,
Yeah.
SSI.
Right.
Good thinking.
Good thinking. Good mechanic. I love mechanics like that where who you have as your party leader matters.
Yeah. Uh,
Did you just pause up here? No, you're still moving.
yeah, your sound kind of faded out for me.
Oh, no, I was just looking over at my screen to see like why do I just have my guy sitting here for a second? I'm
Hmm,
betting a child entered the room at this point in the recording.
probably.
Sometimes that's how
Probably.
that goes.
Yep. It's just gaming as an adult. That's what happens. You just roll with it.
Yep. So, and I think one of the things looking back to this, since we're just sitting here staring at the graphics, it reminds me at the time, these graphics, even on the Commodore, blew my mind. These were incredible for when they came
Mm-hmm.
out. I was used to Ultima one color, everything the same size. The dragon is the same size as a goblin sprites
Mm-hmm.
and battles that fit on one screen. And this, where it scrolls around and walls where that position matters, and
Right.
huge battles with good looking sprites. And it's tactical, not just Bard's Tales, you fighting 99 berserkers and 99 berserkers and 99 berserkers. That you're going to see them. You're going to see where they stand, and where you cast the spell matters was a game changer in a lot of ways for
Yeah. I would
yeah.
like to try this on the Amiga because I liked it stylistically.
Mhm.
Uh, I thought it looked really good
Yeah.
for 1988. So
Mhm.
I'm sure the Amiga is really good.
Amiga's really good. By the time we're done with this and we get into the Super VGA graphics and I think Secret of the Silver Blades, maybe it's Dark Queen,
Hmm.
um, we're comparable with the Amiga. But it would be kind
Yeah.
of fun to go back and play the first game in nice graphics.
I miss
Nicer.
when I miss when graphics were like you'd get like a new thing and it would be this gigantic leap forward. I think those days are over now
Yes.
because like yeah, stuff looks marginally better. Uh,
Well, like when we talk about graphics, a lot of cases we're talking about like doubling polygon counts. We're talking about doubling that. But what we're really doing is halving. And like if you take something and you have it the first time you notice. If you have it again, you still notice. If you have it again, you kind of notice. And the more you have it, the less you really notice. And
mhm,
so we're at such diminishing returns every time we double, the number of polygons because all we're doing is halving the size of the
right.
polygons. That I mean, we notice, but
It's
it
not like when you got your first Super Nintendo having come from the Nintendo and it was like, "Oh my god, like this is the most incredible. What are games going to look like in 10 years?" Now
no.
it's just like, "Oh yeah, 4K, that looks nice.
Yep.
60 frames per second.
Right.
I like it."
Yeah, that's good. I can get into this. Subnautica is beautiful, but
Yeah.
I mean, so were
It's
a
a
lot of
sad
other games
story.
I played.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's graphics. But yeah, it does look good. I liked how everything looked in this game.
Like
I like the
everything.
little cutscenes when you start the fight and the guys
Yeah.
are running at you. It's
Yeah.
good.
The cutscenes are nice. They're a nice touch. I feel like this game could have used more sound. Like the arrow and the fighting and all that's great. I miss music.
Hmm.
And I don't think
Yeah,
any of the SSI games or any of the Gold Box games did music. They did like intro tunes or something. But in terms of just as you play music, I kind
I,
of wish it had a soundtrack.
I can't think of a single SSI game where the sound is significant
Good.
or stands out. Tell us in the comments.
Somebody tell me a SSI game with good sound. With like something that's like you want to just hear the sound.
I gotta say though, I did love the PC speaker sounds in Questron, but there's still no music. Like
Well,
they're really like shrieky
I was
and
gonna say I loved them, but I can also tell you they're not good.
right. That's totally it. But they're
They're
charming.
charming, but they're not like, oh, I'd like
They're
to
not
just
great.
listen to that. Where I'd put on the Ultima 3 in the background while I did homework to listen to the music.
Yeah, right.
Um, yeah. But I love I wish I had a little more control over how the characters look, but all in all, like I loved how much control I had over how the characters looked, how many variations I had on how many variations of monsters.
Hmm.
Everything felt bright and colorful while at the same time not feeling cheesy.
Right.
Um, I loved that, and I noticed this immediately. I started with Curse was my first one of these games I played, Curse the Azure Bonds,
Hmm.
and then came back to get this one. But I always loved that the monsters didn't drop random treasure; they dropped what they were using.
Yes, that's really good. I really like that. You end up with like 9,000 short swords in some of these fights because, like, yeah, they just have shitty short
They have
swords. Like,
shitty,
that's,
yeah,
and now you have them and you
shitty.
can mule them around and sell them for 1 copper.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens. Like, that's what you get.
Yeah, and that's in the beginning. That's what you're doing is you're sort of a cheap weapons merchant, like
Right.
Kmart weapons dealer. Like I found these
Yep. Some beat up old short swords. Don't ask where they came from.
Forgotten Realms pickers.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, yeah. No, I really appreciated the attempt to make things feel woven into the world and not just gamey. There was an attempt to tell a D&D story, to hold it to that higher standard of a game world you interacted with and not just a game. And that's I don't think I'd ever seen that in a computer game
It's just the whole thing is really well thought out.
before. Mm-hmm.
Where the way the world's laid out, the story, even the manuals are pretty well thought
Right.
out. Like the way they manage, where they're like, okay, it's posted like comment XIVL
Yeah.
or some valid Roman numeral. That's not that one. And then you like go to the book and flip through it, and
Yeah. Find what you're looking for and dig that up. No, I don't know how I feel about the journal entries anymore. I used to be a fan of it because I mean, A, there's the copy protection aspect, but it also added a little more. It let me have notes without having to write notes, but now I'm like, I don't know. It's one more step for things, and I don't know that it adds as much as I used to think it added.
it's kind of like I think I would prefer an in-game quest log.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for
I
me, it's mainly because I don't remember which ones I've seen already, and there's no continuity. Like
right.
I don't remember. Have I seen LIX? Like I don't know. I'll go
Did you
look
not
at
put
it
a
again.
checkbox by it? So this is part of why I said print it out.
Oh no, see, I just wrote down the short version on my little notepad.
Oh,
But you are right. Like if you print it out, then you could mark it, and then you would know. So
and
that's good
yeah,
advice.
that's how I did it in my books back in the day because I'd buy these and then just
It's a waste of paper though. You're killing trees with that.
they know what they did.
I'm just more progressive than you, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Your wasteful numeric keypad
Wasteful
and
numeric
in your
keypad,
paper use.
paper use,
Jeez.
making maps and checking stuff off.
Yep.
Sometimes drawing a map again on another piece of paper just to make the map look better.
Oh,
Take that, trees.
yep. Your children are weeping in the other room
They
listening to
are.
this.
Dad's a
Probably.
monster.
Yep. Yep.
Stop, Daddy. They cry.
Please, no more maps.
Oh my God.
Uh,
I would die laughing if they said that to me. That would make my day. Stop
yeah.
mapping. Please think of the trees. Uh, we have anything
Man,
else?
there's you. No, that's pretty much all I
I was gonna
had on
say
that.
this is a loot.
This
Like
you're getting loot glutes from this
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Wow. Everyone's gonna be full.
yeah. I'm just grabbing as much crap as I can to haul back.
Yeah. Dang.
If you're
Yeah,
not moving
that's a big
slow,
fight.
you haven't grabbed enough stuff.
Yep.
Gonna go back and claim your treasure? I can't.
Yeah.
I
I would love
can't.
to. That's another well, actually, can you if you I think the if you hire someone from town, they just take their own shit and you can't load them up, can you?
I think you can load them. I don't know. I never did.
I think it tells you like they take their share and then you just get what's left.
Probably.
I leaned heavily on the person from town.
Yeah, I never wanted to spend money on them.
I
Like,
know.
now I'll
Maybe
figure it
that's
out.
why I was walking around in ring mail.
See, one of the things, and this is one of the differences between how you play and how I play. I am willing to throw time at a game all day. Like, I'm
Hmm.
willing to sit, like when it was Alone in the Dark 2, and watch that little conga line. I'm like, this is going to take me an hour and a half, but I'm going to do this. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying I should doing the way most people should do it.
Right.
Just saying, I think one of the differences between how you and I play, and I think it's interesting to share that dynamic, is I have the ability to just pound on something and throw time at it and time at it and time at it. If it's like, okay, I'm going to need to be super patient here and do a battle and then walk out, do a battle and then walk out.
Hmm.
I'm
I
willing
think
to.
I my ability to do that has been greatly, greatly, greatly reduced because I work from home now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I sit at the computer for all day
Yeah.
and then like
And it's the
even
same
though I'm doing
computer.
something fun, right? It's the same chair, the same computer. There's no like separation between my personal computing time and my work computing time,
Mm-hmm.
and that has made it really hard to devote big blocks of time.
Well, and
Uh,
I think most people wouldn't. Most people don't want to sit at a desk at a computer and play a game. I think it's a big ask for anyone in a modern sensibility to do that.
mhm. The thing is, I love it when I can when a
Mm-hmm.
game is good enough and I'm engaged enough that I can just forget that I've been sitting here. Like that's the experience I want to have. But it's just that like to get there is so much more now because I'm
Right.
I I feel like I've been sitting in this chair all day and now I'm sitting in the chair some more, you know?
Yeah. I think the last time I remember us having something like that was Rings of Zilfin. You and I
Yeah,
had some like quality full day weekend. We were both
right.
playing side by
Right.
side but far away and just were able to put in full days on a game. And that was fun as hell.
Well, last weekend I went to a coffee shop and played Knox. And
Yeah.
and and that was a lot easier because I wasn't at home. Like I was out.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to do some work, but I ended up just not. And
This
and
is
that
work. You're going to earn a Snickers bar someday.
that's true. That's true. Someday,
Someday.
and I'm going to enjoy my half of it.
You can enjoy your half. Yeah, you're not getting a full one to yourself.
No, you're gonna have to mail me my half. Oh God,
Oh my god, that's gonna be awesome.
can't wait.
Oh, I'm so doing it too. We should like video when we finally do make $1 off this.
Hmm.
Like we should. I'll mail you half a Snickers bar and we'll eat it live.
I think what we should do is have Sector Fest,
Sector Fest.
where our rabid fan base all comes together and shares the Snickers
Snickers bar
bar.
with us. That might not be a bad idea.
Yep.
When one of us gets, it'll probably have to be when I come down by you because I love Duluth's, but it's
Yeah.
it's pretty not a lot of people.
Well, I
Uh,
imagine we'll need a large facility to house our fan base.
I think so.
Like I'm thinking the stadium might be an
The
option.
stadium might be an option. I was thinking McDonald's Playland, but whatever.
Right? Do they still have the shitty sheet cake with the
Oh
like
God, I don't
compressed
know.
sugar things and the orange soda? Like,
I
oh man,
don't know. We should so
so
do it.
many birthday parties.
Oh my God.
God, I think I'm gonna have my next birthday at McDonald's.
McDonald's. Like,
I think
where's the
I'm gonna.
kid? I'm the kid.
Yeah, bring me my sheet cake
Bring me my sheet cake and orange drink.
and don't judge.
Oh, I kind of want to do that now. That sounds fun.
Yeah,
All right. Anything else we want to talk about on this? I feel like, we hit everything.
yeah,
Uh,
and then some.
Anything you particularly love or hate about it? One last final thought.
Um, no, there's nothing I really hated about it. Like it's definitely a slog at times,
Mm-hmm.
which is not always the best, but I, that's the game.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate it when it was a slog.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was just like your brain's not going to release that much dopamine when you're facing a wall and camping over and over again.
I kind of want to try and make sure I get to Curse before too long with this because I want to see how you feel when we play that. Strictly because this game really required mapping. Like it required you to map to get through the game. I don't feel like Curse does.
Hmm.
Curse has like a lot of little mini stories when you go from spot to spot.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can just find your way through the maze once, you then go to the next maze. Where this has you backtracking through the same maze over and over and over again. So learning where everything is and mapping it all out is important. The
Mm-hmm.
next one doesn't do that as much.
Interesting.
Secret of the Silver Blades way does it. So if you're into mapping, pool, secret.
Yep.
Curse still has good mapping. It has some really interesting things, but not in the same way. That'll be interesting to see how you feel about the two things.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I'm going to transition to our short game here. Bum,
Do
bum,
it.
bum, bum. Death
God,
Maze
I love that artwork. Oh
5000.
my God. That is how you feel when you play Death Maze 5000.
Yeah. So, like, one of the things I found interesting since I've started looking into this and started playing it, TRS 80 was the
Yes.
original
The Trash
platform for this.
80.
Oh, no, yeah. Yeah, it's
Yep.
the TRS 80, not the TI 99. God,
Yep.
I get those mixed up.
TRS 80.
TRS 80.
Originally, yeah.
And then later ported to the Apple, and I don't think anywhere else.
No, no, there's a few Frank Core Jr. games, and this is the only one I've really played. But we'll talk about it.
We'll
We'll
talk
talk about
about it later. I just kind of wanted to pull it up here because, yeah, that's quite the game.
Is there even a TRS 80 emulator out there? There's got
Yes,
to.
yes, because I've played Dungeon of Daggeroth on it. So,
Oh,
um, because I remember that game, one of my friends had it, and they also played it a couple times at the Radio Shack. And again, that's where I learned to program was on the Radio Shack computer
sure.
at the mall. Um, but the heartbeat as you're walking around,
Oh, very good.
and that's your hit point indicator as to how fast that's going,
Cool.
which is great. And that game is on our list. So, but if you want to see it faster, recommend it. We'll get it on there, and someday we'll get to all of them. Should kind
Yeah.
of comment on that. Our next, let me pull it up here. Um, I think this is kind of interesting. Uh, go in my Google Docs.
The list of
The
what we're
list of
playing.
what we're playing, starting not this next one, but after this. Uh, every game but two is a request for the next 2 years.
Wow.
And
So thanks for those requests.
and we've got maybe a quarter of the requests in the list.
Geez,
So,
we might need a poll.
right, it might be time to like start doing viewer polls or something to um, make that be a thing because we've got a lot. We've got a lot. I know, what might be uh fun and would get us away from the Google money conversation is some people do Patreon and do like you can buy a request.
Hmm.
I'm a little
And
scared of that.
I can be bought very cheaply, so that's good.
um, but it would help me do some things like buy better mics and buy better stuff and kind of upgrade the quality of it. It wouldn't be lining my pocket. It would be
Yeah.
um, anyway, on off that topic and on to what our next big game is. And I was kind of surprised that this game snuck in on us because I didn't expect to see it where it is, but Diablo.
Diablo, 20 years
Diablo.
old?
I know.
Man.
That doesn't sound
Wow.
right, does it?
But it is right.
Mm-hmm.
And we're playing it.
And we're playing
Uh,
it.
this is kind of a gimme because I'm moving uh, and we just played a lot of Diablo recently.
Yep.
So
But we're
to
gonna
be
play
honest,
some more for the next month.
definitely, it's going to be fun.
Record
You
it
can
up,
watch
take
me
some
kill
notes.
Chris. Yep,
Yes.
over and over again.
Over again. You are. I think it'll be fun. It'll be a
Yeah,
good game for us to kind of dig into.
yeah.
Um, it'll be a good game to take apart, especially because I just got done listening to for like the eighth time. I got the audiobook for Stay a While and Listen, which talks about how both Blizzards came to be. And every time I listen to that, I want to start a game company.
Oh God, yeah.
And then I listen to like Masters of Doom, and I absolutely don't want to start a game company.
Right? Is that the id one?
That's
Masters
the
of
id
Doom?
one. Oh my
Yeah.
god. If if you want a really interesting tale of two cities, listen to Stay a While or read Stay a While and Listen, and then read the Masters of Doom, how it came to be. Um, one is friends who got together and built a company together and kind of stayed friends and built some amazing things with it, and one is people who started friends and ended up just at each other's throats through most of it.
Yeah.
You both of them you're rooting for things, but completely different reasons. I recommend both of them. I think they're both good books. I enjoyed them thoroughly.
That's great.
Yeah. All right. Without anything else, then, bye
That's all I got.
everybody.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. Bye.